Hyundai made the N division not too long ago. Well, it was just to make sporty, racy versions of their commuter cars. It started with the Veloster and a few models, and it trickled down to the Elantra and more recently to the Ioniq 5. Well, I finally have a chance to try out the N division, and yes, welcome everybody then to the 2024 Hyundai Elantra N. What is it basically? Well, it's the racy, fast, sporty version of your neighborhood friendly version of the Elantra. Let's see how this sporty front wheel drive car is. When you come to the front of the all-new Elantra N, you know for sure that this is not the regular version. This is the hot, spicy one. And there are lots of elements to tell you that. Firstly, you do have a very aggressive front end. For the 2024 update, even for the regular Elantra, you do have lots of black plastic on the bumper. But for the N, I feel like they've made the air dams even bigger. So you do have functional air dams on the side of the bumper and in the middle of the bumper for the radiator. What also makes this stand out compared to a regular Elantra is this red pinstripe on the bottom of the bumper, which is almost like a front diffuser, which I think it looks really cool. You do also have matte black Hyundai emblems all around the car. The regular Elantra gets it in grey or silver, but this black means that it is the real deal. It is the N. Also, what stands out is this paint. So this paint is only available in the N cars, and it was one of their trademark marketing colors. And personally, I feel like if you have to buy an N car or even the Elantra N, this is the paint shade to go on, because this is the identity that this car carries. And if you see one on the road in this color, you know for sure that it is the N. It cannot be a regular Elantra. Overall, I think it looks very good, and even the updated headlights, so it's much more sleeker. I think it looks much nicer, and you do have a chrome strip on the bumper, which you might think that it might be an LED unit because it's so beautifully integrated to the headlights, but it's not. The headlights, the DRLs are only restricted to the headlights, and this middle part does not glow. The Sonata also has that, but the Sonata has a glowing LED, so you might think it could be a new design theme, but the Elantra doesn't get that quite just yet. Overall, I think it's a very smart looking front end. A bit busy, but I think it's a good looking front end. When you come to the side of the Elantra is when you realize that yes, this is a conventional 3-box sedan, which means it's got a proper proportion. You've got front overhangs, rear overhangs, and the roofline is also very nice. You do have lots of cuts and creases on the doors as well, because that's just a Hyundai thing, and Hyundai has been over designing simple things for the last few years. It's not a bad thing. I think it looks pretty good, and overall I think the side profile is very standard, very nice. What complements the side profile are these beautiful looking 19-inch wheels. They're matte black. The pre-facelift had diamond cut wheels, and I personally like that design a bit more, but this is honestly not that bad. It does have Michelin Pilot Sport, so it means that it handles and grips more, but more on that later. You do also have N brakes, which are super bright red, and they pop, and again they break the monotony of the design element, and I think it looks really good. Again, it puts out the intention that it is a true-blooded sporty car. So overall, I think the side profile looks really good. You do also have side skirts with again the same red pinstripe, which just enhances the appeal, enhances the character, and makes you believe that yes, this is the sportiest version of the Elantra that you can buy in the market today. When you come to the rear of the Elantra N, yes, it does have a spoiler, and it's not too much different compared to the pre-facelift, and I think that's no bad thing, because the Elantra never had a problem with the looks from the back. It does have a bit more cuts and creases, especially on the taillight, and now it's an all LED unit, so it does make the car look a bit more fresher, much more relevant in today's market. Since this is the N, you do have a sort of like a Ford diffuser. It has lots of cuts and creases. It is matte black, and yes, you do have the red stripe on the bottom of the bumper. You do have twin pipes, so one on each side, and yes, they are functional and they are loud and they have tons of pops and bangs, but more on that later. You do, as I said, the spoiler, which I really like, and I think all sporty cars should have a spoiler just to show their intent of being sporty. I don't know how much this spoiler is useful with downforce, since this is a front wheel drive car, but having said that, I still like this design element a lot. You do have a blacked out shark fin antenna, and I like the way the roof slopes in on the boot. The rear overhang isn't that much, but I still think it looks really good. You do have one cross LED unit bar strip throughout the taillight, which I think looks very good. And as I said, this is the N, so you do have blacked out Hyundai badges, blacked out Elantra lettering on the boot, and you do have the elusive N badge on the back. overall I would say that it's a really good looking back, and overall the front and the side merged really well with the rear, and it's just a handsome looking car. And when you see one on the road, unmistakably you know that this is the Elantra N. Being a sedan, you do get quite a lot of practicality as well. So if I unlock the car and if I open the boot, it doesn't open automatically, so you have to lift it up. You do get an access to a decently sized boot, and that can take easily your airport runs, weekend luggage with your family. So it is a sporty car and it's practical at the same time. And I don't know if you can see through the camera, but there are some cross braces on the rear seats, which is kind of funny because you do have levers to fold the seat. It's a 50-50 split, so you can put longer stuff, but I'm sure that crossbar hampers practicality a bit. Maybe you could put skis. Not suitcases, but I think skis or canoes will easily fit in the back of the Elantra N. I'm now on the inside of the Elantra N. As you can see, it's a typical Elantra on the inside, and that's my only gripe with this car. The plastic quality, I'm not a big fan of. There's lots of hard plastics on the dash, throughout the dash, and I don't like it. I wish they could have improved the quality material, especially that this is the most expensive version of the Elantra, and there is some price gap between the N and the highest non-N variant. You do have a nice curved screen, physical buttons for the audio, physical buttons for the AC, heated seats, everything. Having said that, the screen is a bit of a weird one. Although the graphics and everything, the touch response is decent, it does not have wireless CarPlay. In this day and age, it has a wireless charger, but no wireless CarPlay. And CarPlay only works with a Type A port. Now, I just upgraded my phone. I didn't even get a Type A cable from the company. I only had a Type C to Type C port. So there is a Type C port, but that's only for charging. I somehow managed to find some old cable in my house that is a Type A to Type C, and I somehow got CarPlay to work. But in this day and age, Hyundai needs to update this system a bit more. Either give it wireless CarPlay, or even if it's wired CarPlay, it should work from a Type C port, because I believe all phones in 2024 are now only supplied with a Type C cable. You do have a nice 3-spoke steering, which has the N buttons and a rev button. So the left N button is to toggle between the N mode and N custom. So N custom is basically you can adjust engine mode, suspension mode, all that stuff. The right N mode is to toggle through eco, comfort and sport. Well, I usually keep it in N or N custom, so this right button I haven't used too much. There is a very big red rev button, and that's to turn on and turn off the rev match, which I like a lot. Lots of cars, including its arch rival, the Civic Type R, if you want to turn off or turn on rev match, you have to play through the screen, and then you have to be at a halt. That's when you can play around. This is so much more convenient, and I actually love, because it does make it visually appealing as well. For all you know it, they could have not written anything, but just having a fancy red button in a dark interior makes it stand out and makes you want to press that button all the time. So personally, kudos to Hyundai for including such a cool little design element on the steering. It feels very, very nice to hold. You do have perforated leather with blue stitching, because the N, as I said, the blue color on the exterior is what the N brand has been representing for a long time. So you do have lots of blue elements, and all these elements on the inside perfectly match with the exterior color. Overall, it feels very, very nice to hold, and it just feels like you want to drive this car hard all the time. You do have buttons for volume control, the adaptive cruise control, but it doesn't have distance control. It just has lane keep and the regular cruise control. You do have the stalks, which feel very, very nice. And overall, as I said, this curved screen, the whole ambience doesn't feel too bad, barring the plastic quality. Since this is the Elantra, you do have the regular grab handle design that they have, and you do have a nice shifter. So this is available with an 8-speed automatic dual clutch or this manual, and I personally like the shifter design of this manual a lot. It's one of the better looking shifters I've seen in recent time. It has a golf ball sort of pattern. It feels very nice, has the right amount of aluminum, and I like the pattern of the shifts that has mentioned with the N logo. I think it looks very, very good. You do have some physical buttons for the drive mode and to activate the parking sensors and the camera. You do have cup holders as well of 2 different sizes. So one cup holder is slightly bigger than the other, and there's also an extension which you can remove to put in slightly bigger cups, but if you put this, you can put your keys or stuff like that inside. You do have lots of gloss black as well, which is a bit of a pain to upkeep. As you can see, it's a bit already dusty inside here, so I wish that this gloss black maybe could have been replaced with a nutter, maybe sort of like a carbon fiber-ish weave pattern, because this is a sporty car. But yeah, this gloss black is also around there. You do have a center armrest which you can use to keep lots of stuff as well. You do have a physical handbrake in 2024. This is becoming quickly very extinct in cars. So to find a physical handbrake in a 2024 car, I was pleasantly surprised. You do have a small sunroof as well, which is very nice. You do have Alcantara suede on the doors. As I said, they have used some high quality material. So if this material could have been on the dash, it would have uplifted the ambience just to the ultimate level. The suede feels nice. Again, the same plastics on the door, not a very big fan of. They do feel a bit on the cheaper side. You do have integrated vents onto the dash, and overall, the ambience of the interior is a hit or miss. I love the seats. So these are racing buckets, sort of, you can say sporty seats, and they do have nice contours for the side as well. No adjustable under thigh support, and they are manual seats. They are not powered for both driver and passenger. You could have maybe asked for powered seats, but even the Type R that has the buckets has manual seats, so that's perfectly fine. Overall, the seat itself is very, very nice, and you are quite well kept in the seat even when you're cornering this car very hard. You do have glowing N emblems on the seat near the headrest, which again look very, very cool at night, and small bits here and there make sure that you feel very special and it feels worthy of paying a premium for the N over the regular Elantra. You do have Alcantara suede on the backrest of the seat. Merge that with this Recaros and this sort of blue stitching. I find that these seats are one of the best looking seats in the sub 50 or 60k market. Overall, I'd say that, as I said, the whole interior is a bit of a hit or miss. It does have some feel good factors, a lot of things that could be improved, but overall this car is just meant to get in and drive. And once you're driving and pushing this car on the edge, you might not focus on the hard plastics of this interior because you just want to be in the zone, and this car delivers. But as I said, more on the driving part later. I'm now in the back of the Elantra N, and it's not too special compared to a regular Elantra. I mean, you do have the suede seats, the Alcantara, which I think looks good. It's still matched with the blue stitching. You do have 3 headrests, and space is not too bad. I mean, legroom, this driving seat is slightly more behind than what I would usually have, and you can see I have tons of knee room, tons of place to tuck in my feet. Headroom isn't too bad. I'm at 5'8". I have enough, but I do feel maybe 6-footers or maybe around 6'2", 6'3" people might brush their hair against the top of the roof. You do have windows. You do not have a panoramic glass, so it is a bit dark, and I do feel that the windows are also a bit on the smaller side. Slightly bigger windows would let a bit more light in, but the sloping roof in any car usually does bring these kind of drawbacks. Overall, it's not that bad. You do have the same plastics on the door, and you do still have the same suede finish on the door as well. The door handles particularly, I feel, are a bit on the lower side, and that is applicable to the front door as well. Normally you would find the door handles of a car should be around here, but this is slightly on the lower side, so newcomers slightly find themselves finding the door handle when they want to exit the car. No heated seats in the back, only powered windows, and you do have 2 Type-C ports, no vents as well in the back, which is a bit shocking. The floor hump isn't too tall. You do have a 3rd headrest, so the 3rd passenger is also pretty much welcome in the rear. What's also shocking is you do not have an armrest for the 2 passengers in the rear, so this does not slide open. You do not have anything to keep your hand, no cup holders, no nothing. You do have cup holders on the door. I do have a coffee cup on the side, but that's about it when it comes to practicality in the rear. Not too much happening. As you can see, Hyundai wants you to just spend your time mostly in the driver's seat. I'm now behind the wheel of the 2024 Hyundai Elantra N. So let's get the numbers out of the way. This has a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine, produces about 270 or 275 horsepower in the manual trim. And yes, this does have an 8-speed dual clutch automatic as well, and that has 280 horsepower. That has a 10 seconds of overboost, if I can say it, and that delivers all 280 horsepower. This has 270 or 275, but it's still not slow in any way. So if I use the manual handbrake and put it down, and honestly it's such a joy, and I set off, and I'm right now in the normal mode, so I can play through eco, normal and sport. But there is an N mode as well, and I can go all berserk with it. If I put it to N mode, you can feel the car just stiffens up and tightens up, and this does have something called launch control. So if I launch it at say 3700 rpm, which or 3600 rpm, which you can actually select what rpm you want to launch at. Put into first. Oh, that wheel hop. Yeah, that wheel hop looks like you're gonna break the car, but and that's 100 in under 6 seconds. I think it does it in 5.5 seconds for the manual. And yeah, that wheel hop at launch, it's really not a pleasant experience. It feels like you're breaking the car. When you're past that, and then you realize that the car actually pulls really well, and it plays through the gears really well. The shifter is very positive, it's very light, very easy to row through the gears. The clutch is also a bit on the annoying side. The bite point is a bit annoying. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't know if the audio can catch it, but if you're in N mode, this car likes to pop and bang at every gear, provided you are above 4000 RPM. Below 4000 RPM, hardly makes anything, but post 4000 RPM, it's a different beast, performance-wise and noise-wise. So yeah, as I was saying, the clutch bite point is also a bit weird, especially when you want to start from like a complete stop. It's very difficult to get it right. You can often find yourself stalling the car if you're not used to the clutch. But yeah, you do have to slip it a bit in the beginning. But once again, as I said, you're past that and you're actually driving it, it's a lot of fun. Like I'm on some twisties and this thing turns well. Oh, wow. It grips well. I mean, the road isn't the best. It's a bit bumpy. It's very wet, but it is actually handling like a true beauty. It's so much fun. The steering feel is so good. Everything is spot on. Honestly, I did not expect this car to handle anything like it does, because my benchmark for me in my mind is probably my most favorite hot hatch right now, which is the Honda Civic Type R. And I can safely say this is almost as good. And I think praise doesn't get taller than that. Wow, it pulls through. Obviously it's a front wheel drive. When you floor it, and especially in tricky conditions like today, there is torque steer, very little. It does wheel hop in first gear a little bit. That's a bit annoying, but again, once you pass that, it's fine. But otherwise, the steering feel, especially in the stiffest setting, I am in the N mode, the steering is really very good. It's very direct, it's well weighted, and you can actually just very accurately pinpoint the car through the corner, mid corner, exit of corner. You can floor it. If I put a gear down, oh, I can hear the pops. Wow. And it's fast. It's very fast. You are way beyond the speed limit in no time. The brakes are very nice. The pedal feel is really nice. It's very positive. You don't never have to stamp on the brakes to get anywhere. It's very positive. Overall, driving this car is a very rewarding experience. You can play down the gears. Oh, nice. And I can just feel every pothole, every imperfection on the road, but the rack is so good. Wow. Honestly, this car is so much fun. I would say it's almost as good as the Honda Civic Type R. And considering the price difference these cars have, I think it's very tall praise. It's a lot of fun. I've been having so much fun. And the best part, you can have fun in N mode. You can put it in N custom, like how I have set up. So I have the engine and the steering in the stiffest setting, but the suspension in the most comfortable setting. And you can actually go back into eco, normal, or sport, and it becomes almost like a regular Elantra. I mean, I can put it into fifth at 60 and I can just cruise, and it's not making a single noise. It's not doing anything. It's very comfortable. It's very laid back. The steering gets much lighter. I love this dual personality that the Elantra N has. You can have fun, you can be a full-on hooligan, yet when you have your family and friends, you can completely calm down, die down, and just make it a regular Elantra. Maybe even daily drive it to work or anything you have to do. And when you drive it like this, you can get up to 8.59 liters per 100 on the highway, and in the city I've been getting 10.5, which is really not too bad. And it does take 87 octane as well, so you don't have to fill in premium fuel and make your fuel expenses very high. It's actually very practical, very livable, and honestly I've had so much fun driving this vehicle. Like I said, I've been wanting to drive this vehicle for a very long time, and now after living with one, I'm not disappointed. It's just so much fun. Let's just do one last push. Put into N. Oh, and it goes. Wow. And it's so linear, the power delivery. One gear down. Wow. Ish, it's so much fun. It's so much fun. Did you ever think a Hyundai would be this much fun? 10 years ago? I'd never have thought so. It's so much fun. Wow. A bit of the ESC helping me there. I lost a bit of mid-corner grip because the road is actually very slippery. But oh my god, what fun. Fantastic car. I'm in love. Like, I genuinely was thinking maybe a few years down the line I can buy this car, and after driving it, this is what sells it to me. It drives so beautifully well. In conclusion, then, the 2024 Hyundai Elantra N. Well, I've been wanting to drive this car for a very, very long time. And now that I have driven it, I think it does meet up all the hype that this car has generated for itself over the last few years. I think it drives fantastically well, is efficient if you need it to be, and is decently practical with space for patches inside and a big boot to haul the luggage as well. What else do you need of a car to do? I mean, all its rivals also do similar things very well. The Civic Type R, the Integra Type S, the Volkswagen Jetta GLI, and the Golf GTI. But the Type R and the Integra are way more expensive, closer to the 60,000 mark. The GLI is very similarly priced at around the 40,000 mark, but it does have lesser power. So, 280 horsepower, fun to drive manual, and fantastic handling. This Elantra N is priced at roughly $40,000 Canadian. And I think that's great value for a car that can do almost everything. I mean, if I were in the market to buy, which I will be very soon in a few years, this was going to be one of my top contenders. And now after driving, I certainly think that I'll be very happy if I do actually end up buying one. Hyundai indeed has come a long way.